prior, you touched base on all the work you had done for Strikeforce and help building that division. Does it insult you that you're not part of the final Strikeforce card?
I think at this point, I maybe think of it as a good sign that they want to keep the female fights for the UFC and keep those exciting fights for the UFC and for kind of, their bigger production. So to me, maybe that's a good thing in that it really is hopefully pulling us over and saying, look, we care about these fights. We really want to have these fights. And not that they don't care about the men who are fighting on the card, because it's a stacked card. I'm really excited. But I think maybe they were just thinking that they're going to, kind of hold off on the females, see what happens with the fights, and see what matches they can put together that they can really expose the UFC fans to if they aren't already watching Strikeforce.
And as far as women's mixed martial arts, all the work that you've done to help build the division and build the sport and gain it recognition, and females like Marloes Coenen and Christian Cyborg Santos, does it upset you at all that after all what all the athletes have done to build it, that the UFC only jumped on the female bandwagon with Ronda Rousey?
I don't know if you can say upset. I mean, you would love for them to be behind you 100% and, and wanting you to be that kind of person in the spotlight and the one that they're, promoting and giving attention to. But, Ronda has, piqued Dana's interest and because of that, he likes her style. He likes kind of that aggressive, brass, say anything at any time and not really care about what other people think. And I can admire that in someone. I personally, that's not me, and I wouldn't be able to do, I don't have that, California bad side or whatever you'd call it. But, of course, I would have loved if that had been me. And, when I first won the Strikeforce title, if they'd stepped in and said, oh, yeah, she's knocked out all these girls, let's really promote her and push her out there. But at the end of the day, she's doing a great thing. There's a lot of pressure on Ronda to keep that going. But, everyone's starting to kind of catch up to that. And hopefully it's just going to bring about more exciting fights that everyone can get to see. And it's going to open up the opportunities for every other female to kind of come in, put in their time, get their wins, make exciting fights. And I know that that's what I go in there to do every fight. I don't try and go in and get a decision or outpoint someone. I like hitting people, and that's at the end of the day. If I get hit back, I want to hit someone some more. And it's really a give and take with me. And I think the more I get hit, the more exciting the fight is. It gets me pumped up, and it gets me amped to really get in there and kind of fight dirty and, and let those hands go. And that's what I like in a fight. I think it's fun, and I think fans really enjoy it too.
And we definitely enjoy your exciting style of fighting. The knockouts that we've been able to see from you are fantastic. With the Invicta card coming up on April 13th, have you spoken to Shannon Knapp about perhaps your introduction to the promotion, if you are to go with them, to be a championship bout, as there is no bantamweight champion in Invicta at the moment?
Honestly, that's all my manager. He kind of deals with all of that. For the most part, I'm kind of a drone. I train. I talk to people. I show up to fight, and my manager says, this is who you're fighting. I say, okay, great. Or he says, I want you to do this, and, we'll get you a title, or, whatever he says, I'll do it. So, I'd love to fight for the title. It'd be a great honor, but really it's up to Shannon Knapp and my manager and the UFC what they want to do with me.
And, you seem to have that attitude of willing to fight anyone at any time. You said you'd fight for Invicta in April, you'd fight for Invicta tomorrow. It really didn't matter to you. But as far as an opponent, there's been talk of Miesha Tate, perhaps maybe a rematch with Marloes Coenen. Sarah McMahon is always out there and looking like, a new threat in the division. If you had your pick, would you be able to pick someone? Is there someone you'd like to fight over another?
I don't know if there is. I think every fight is a different style and a different matchup. Miesha Tate, of course, we fought before. It was the first fight that I had that went to decision in 3-minute rounds, and I really think I could have finished her had the fight been 5-minute rounds. I think I would have finished her, but that's said and done. But for the most part, I think that would be a fun fight. She got her butt kicked by Julie Kedzie, my teammate, and then managed to get the armbar win. So I'd definitely like to avenge that for Julie, and it's just always fun to punch someone in the face. But Sarah McMahon, I also think that would be a super fun fight. She started to use her striking more and has that great wrestling. In the pedigree behind her, that would be a big accomplishment to kind of get in there and use my striking and use my wrestling and showcase what I'm capable of. There really are so many people. And Invicta has, like 12, 15 high-level females at my division, on their roster as well. So I don't know if I could pick one in general.
All right, but either way, Sarah, you'd be ready to fight. March 16th, just over 2 months away. If the UFC calls you at any point, you're ready to take on anybody at that point in time, right?
I would take on Carlos Condit if they called me and said, "Hey, look, this is who you're fighting." Like, I don't care. I'll fight anyone.
Kaufman versus Overeem.
Why not? People would talk about it.
I'd want you to do the VADA testing for that, though, Sarah. Come on. Sarah Kaufman, it's always great talking to you. I really hope we get to see a fight here on March 16th. You would be a fantastic addition to the card, and I'd like to see you on pay-per-view. I think that you should be on the UFC 158 pay-per-view. It only makes sense. If Ronda Rousey's fighting at 157, you should be fighting at 158. So I hope you get that fight, Sarah, and thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. And anyone on Twitter, if they want to, tweet the UFC, tweet Dana White, include myself at MMA Sarah, and just tell them what you want to see. Tweet
to at Dana White. Tweet to at Wright UFC, at Tom Wright, WRIGHT UFC on Twitter. And, of course, follow Sarah at MMA Sarah with an H at the end. Sarah Kaufman, thanks very much.
Thanks so much, guys.